If you've watched my recent guides, you know how to get moving in Albion Online. You've got an effective build, you're making silver, and you're not struggling with the mobs and players anymore. That's real progress. But at some point, you're going to hit a wall that solo play just can't get you past, and that's where a guild comes in. The problem isn't finding one, the problem is finding the right one. Because the wrong guild doesn't just waste your time, it can actually set you back. They'll drain your silver through unnecessary high taxes, ask you to pay a monthly or even weekly contribution fee to be in the guild, force you to do mandatory events which don't net you anything, or worse, a guild that's dead on arrival. So, in this video, we're going to break down exactly how to tell the difference. On that note, I've built my own guild, Framework, and we're recruiting. So if you are looking for a guild on the Europe server, watch till the end and decide for yourself if we're the right one for you. Before we get into it, 3 things. Now, joining a guild is great, but when you're just starting out, it's worth learning the ropes on your own terms first, getting confident in what you're doing, how to progress, and how to make silver. If you're not quite there yet, I've got a fast start guide linked in the description that will get you to that point. It covers exactly what to do and how to get moving in both silver and fame. Once you've got that foundation, you start hitting the ceiling. Either solo play isn't taking you as far as you want, or you simply want to tap into the social side of the game, which opens up a lot of content and genuinely changes the experience. And third, at that point, you want to know exactly what you're walking into. You don't want to gamble your progress on a guild that turns out to be a waste of time. If that's you, let's get into it. So, why do so many beginners avoid guilds in the first place? It's rarely about not wanting one. The most common thing I see from newer players isn't should I join a guild? It's am I even at a point where a guild would want me? They are tier 4, still learning the game, and they don't want to show up somewhere and be that weight. So they wait. They tell themselves they'll join once they're good enough, once they've got a better build, and once they know what they're doing. The problem is that point never really comes on its own. Waiting until you're ready before joining is a bit like waiting until you're fit before going to the gym. You don't level up to deserve it. You get in and level up because of it. The players who stay solo indefinitely aren't playing it safe. They are just capping their own progression and game experience without realizing it. And the fears new players have around guilds, the taxes, the mandatory events, the dead guilds, those are very real. But they're not guild problems. They are wrong guild problems. The answer isn't to stay out. The answer is to know what you're walking into, which is exactly what the rest of this video is for. So what does a good guild actually give you? Let's be specific, because community and support aren't answers. Here are 5 things a good guild actually gives you. The first answer is knowledge. This is the one most people underestimate. Albion has a steep learning curve and a lot of it is undocumented. The fastest way to close that gap isn't Twitch or YouTube. It's having experienced players in a Discord you can actually ask questions in. One conversation can save you weeks of trial and error. The second answer is content access. There are many things in this game that solo players simply cannot run effectively or access on their own, such as many of the instanced content, static and group dungeons, outposts and castles, the bigger open world objectives, such as large chests and point 4 nodes, and most of the content inside of the Roads of Avalon. A guild doesn't just open those doors, it gives you people to learn them with. The third answer is rewards. This game is designed around group play and the rewards reflect that. Group content comes with much better rewards, more silver, more loot, and more fame than solo content. The more you play with a guild, the more the game pays you for it. The fourth answer is fame. Guild hideouts in the Black Zone give you a passive fame buff just for being in one. Avalonian raids give you a weekly fame buff. And the Conqueror's Challenge, which you can do solo, goes significantly faster and easier when you're doing it with guildmates. These buffs stick together make for about 30% more fame while playing the game. which means a lot more progress in a lot less time. And the fifth answer is exclusive content. Some things in this game you simply cannot access without a guild that holds a territory or has a hideout. Fortresses and cores being the prime example. A solo player can never utilize these objectives or profit from the massive rewards they generate. None of that is about being used. It's about removing unnecessary friction from your progression and accessing parts of the game that are otherwise completely locked off. Alright, so how do you actually find the right one? Here's what to look for. First, before anything else, where do you even find guilds worth considering? For more casual and community-focused guilds, the Albion Online subreddit is genuinely one of the best places to look. Good guilds post there regularly, and you can get a feel for their tone just from how they write their recruitment post. For the more competitive side, check the in-game guild rankings. That will tell you exactly where a guild stands without taking anyone's word for it. Once you've found some candidates, the first thing to check is whether they have a guild Discord. This is non-negotiable. Any guild that takes the game, their members, and their organization seriously has one. It's how announcements get made, how groups get formed, and how voice comms happen. And voice comms matter, especially for Black Zone content where you can run into another group at any moment. If a guild doesn't have a Discord in this day and age, that tells you everything you need to know. Second, look for a guild that has systems in place to actually get members doing content together. Whether that's scheduled daily or weekly events, the ability for members to start their own groups and find party members, or something else entirely. The keyword is systems, not intentions, not we're planning to, already running and already organized. Third, find a guild that offers what you actually need. If you're a beginner who needs guidance, look for one with mentors. If you're transitioning from non-lethal to lethal content, find a guild that runs both. If you need a high-tier hideout for crafting, make sure they have one. If you want castles and large-scale PvP, join a guild with the numbers that makes that possible. The point is simple. Match the guild to your goals, and not the other way around. Fourth, join a guild that has a goal of its own. Getting a hideout, claiming a first territory, reaching a certain rank on the seasonal leaderboard, helping new players learn the game. Whatever it is, a guild without direction is just a group chat. The goal is what gives the guild a reason to keep showing up together. And finally, trust the vibe. You can feel from a recruitment post alone whether a guild is the kind of place you'd want to spend time. If you're unsure, hang around their Discord for a bit before committing. Spend some time there, you'll know. Now let's talk about what to avoid, because knowing the green flags is only half of it. First, never pay a membership fee to be in a guild. If a guild is asking you for a weekly or monthly contribution just to stay a member, that's a red flag regardless of what they say they offer in return. There are plenty of guilds out there that offer the same or more and ask nothing from you up front. Move on. Second, tax. Tax gets a bad reputation, but it's actually not that big of a deal on its own. The silver that gets taxed is what you pick up off the ground, which is a small fraction of what you actually make in the game. That said, you should never join a guild with a high tax rate without knowing exactly why it's higher. Up to 10% is reasonable. Anything above that, ask the question, what is this funding? A guild that can't answer that clearly either doesn't know or doesn't want you to know. Either way, not a good sign. Third, avoid guilds with requirements you can't sustainably meet. If you're running tier 6 equivalent sets and a guild expects you to show up to 3 daily ZVZ messes in tier 8 gear, that's not the right fit for where you are right now. It's not just about whether you can afford the sets once, it's about whether you can keep affording them as a newer player who's still building their silver income. Join something that matches where you actually are and not where you want to be. Fourth, know what you're signing up for. Some guilds have mandatory attendance with real consequences for missing events. Demotions, kicks, fines. That's not inherently wrong. It's just a certain type of guild. The mistake is joining one without reading the fine prints first. Before you commit, ask directly what's expected of you. A guild that's upfront about its requirements is a good sign. One that isn't is also a sign. And fifth, be cautious of a guild with no requirements or quality check on who they let in. It sounds welcoming, but it's actually a warning sign. A guild that accepts anyone without any bar tends to have the numbers on paper and nobody really knowing what they're doing in practice. High turnover, low engagement, and people quitting the game a day after joining. Ironically, a guild that filters its recruits even slightly is showing you that they care about who stays, and that changes the entire experience of being a member. Everything I just described, the Discord, the systems, the goal, and the filter on who gets in, I built a guild around exactly that. It's called Framework. So what does it actually look like? Framework is a community guild on the Europe server, currently located in Bridgewatch. We play both the Bridgewatch faction and Black Zone content through the Bridgewatch portal, so there's always something to do regardless of how you like to play. When you join, you come in as a draft. That's where everyone starts. As you contribute, showing up, running content and helping others, you move up. Blueprint, Architect, Engineer. Each tier reflects how embedded you are in what we're building and not just how long you've been around. The motto is, build yourself, build a guild. That's not decoration, it's the actual design principle. Your progression and the guild's progression are the same thing. Now, who is Framework for? We recruit players of all levels. If you are newer or returning and want a place to learn the game properly, grow at your own pace, and actually have people to play with, that's us. And if you are an experienced player who wants to help build something and contribute to a guild that's going somewhere, we want you to. The goal is to grow together, and that takes both. One thing worth saying clearly, there is no mandatory content, no obligations, and no events you'll get kicked for missing. But we're also not a social hub for solo players who just want a guild tag above their name. We do expect you to be a part of the community. Show up, contribute, and grow alongside everyone else. We're building something together, and that only works if people actually want to be here. No leeching and no using the guild for personal gain and dipping. If that sounds like you, the Discord link is in the description. Come in, have a look, and if it feels right, you know what to do. If you're still getting your footing in Albion, the Fast Start Guide is the place to begin. Link is on screen. And I want to hear from you. Are you currently in a guild? And if so, what do you like most about it? Or maybe you've had a bad experience with one. Drop it in the comments. And if you are still looking, let me know what's been holding you back. I'll see you in the next one.